Current students. Any past clients in the room today? Past clients? Past clients. I'm going to flip this around because it's current students and past clients in the room. I'm going to ask you a couple questions. About that. First and foremost, I'm Norris Ellis. I met Regina in January of this year, and I've been working on my credit report with her since then. And it started for me not just because I wanted to fix my credit. What was really eating at me was that my name was no good. And the Bible declares that a good name is to be desired above rubies and gold and anything else. And my name was bad. And that was an issue for me. That happened to me, and I can't tell you what caused it to happen. I just all of a sudden started realizing that my name was no good. And it could be a part of some of the bigger things that I had been praying about, I had been talking to God about, He was working with me on. You know, just being a better person, being a better mother, being a better wife, being a better friend, all of those kinds of things. And I believe that that's the reason why people show up at events like this, because there is a part of you that's looking to be better. So it is my prayer, it's my hope that when you leave today, that you're going to feel like you've gotten what you need in order to be that much better. It's my hope that whether you're a current student, past student, you just stumbled into this room by accident, whatever it is, that when you leave here, that you are going to feel better for having come here. Can I get some agreement on that? Yeah. All right. Is there anybody that disagrees with that? Is there anybody here that just don't want nothing better? Don't want something better, anything? No, nobody, everybody. So we're in agreement. Everybody wants something a little bit better, right? Okay. All right. So that's the first thing. Now, past students, current students, past client, stumbled in the room. Regina just gave y'all the answer, so I'm going to ask you this question. Everybody's head should be up. For real.
I'm gonna
turn around.
I'm going to give it a shot.
Okay, what?
She was saying when they put your Social Security, they get your Social Security in a sense without your permission.
That's a debt violation. You close though. Debt validation.
Oh, okay.
Debt validation. Anybody? Yes, sir. Man in the back, all the way to the back. The quiet man.
Basically, it's when you're asking the creditor to verify that you owe them the debt.
Exactly. Debt validation is prove to me, one, that I owe the debt. Two, that I owe the debt to you. That's where he has to either put up or shut up. Either I owe you this money because you have a contract, or me on video, or somewhere you got proof that you and I engaged in a contract. Now, if anybody's ever, I don't know, we all know about contracts, but there is a legal definition for contract. And in order for you to have a contract, whether it's verbal or written, you have to have an offer, you have to have an acceptance, you have to have agreement. So if me and you don't agree on the offer, or I don't accept your offer, I don't have a contract with you. So if you are ABC debt collector and you just showed up Johnny on the spot and told me that I owed you $300 because I borrowed it from Jimmy Crackhorn 3 years ago and I didn't pay it back, I don't even understand how you know me. Where did this come from? How did this happen? Yes, ma'am.
I had something like that where I owed a creditor a cash advance. So they gave my information to another collector, and they didn't
give it to them.
They didn't.
Know what they did? They sold it to a collector to another. He was like, this chick is not gonna pay me, so let me figure out how I can cut my losses. I know, I'll sell it to somebody else. So if you, let's say you owed him $10, he sells it to the other person for $3. They come back to you. He got his $3 from that dude, but he also got a write-off, a tax write-off, or even a tax refund from the government for the $10 that didn't get paid.
Oh, okay.
You see how that works?
He said I owe him $3,000.
And again, those two questions: who are you? What is your address? I promise you, it will run them away. I've tried it.
Okay.
It will run them away. I've had people, well, ma'am, I asked the question like Regina was teaching me. I learned something new. Was this debt purchased or signed? I was swole up. It's like, one moment, ma'am, I'll find out from my supervisor. I am not making this up. This is a true story. I'm going to find out from my supervisor.
So say that too.
Was it sold or signed? Because there is a difference.
Purchase or signed.
Purchased or signed. And the difference is this. If I am the debt collector and I purchase your debt, right? I bought it. It now belongs to me. That means I can do whatever I want to do to it. I can add interest to it. I can, you know, I can do whatever. I can add all kinds of fees. I can do whatever I want to do to it because it's mine. I bought it. But if it has been assigned to me, that means that I was hired by the original creditor to collect this debt from them, their money. So that being the case, the interest rate can't change. We can't really add any fees to it, all of this stuff. So that makes a difference. And a lot of people who are calling you about your debts are folks that's making $8, $9, $12 an hour trying to pay their bills. They're not your enemy. That's why you can talk to them. Even the ones that's calling you talking about we're gonna put you in jail, you know, we're gonna come and burn your house down and MF this and so that. They just trying to get their money. That's all that is. I used to say stuff before I started learning that. I used to ask people like that, for real, how much of this are you gonna get? And you're chasing me like you got commission on this thing. And that was pretty much their reaction. And then, but I didn't know what to do. It was still on my credit. It was still on my credit. So it wasn't doing me any good. But now I know what to say, how to engage them. Because at the end of the day, we're still talking to human beings. We're talking to people that got bills just like we do. And there is a difference between a bill and a debt. Regina explained earlier, a lot of this debt is not even real debt. It's a fiction. It's a lie that's been perpetrated. And it goes on and on and on. Now, let me tell you another question that can get somebody off your phone pretty fast. Are you licensed to collect debt in your state?
Seriously?
Excuse me. I checked my Secretary of State's website and I can't find y'all licensed nowhere in the state of Georgia. So if you don't want me to call them on you, you might not want to call me no more.
Thank you.
What's wrong? Speeding ticket. Yeah. You go a couple miles over the limit, and the police officer's so nice. You know what? You were doing 65 in a 55 zone, but I'm gonna write it for 49 for you. How about that? I'm gonna give you a little break. You ain't gonna get no points on your license, but you better still come up off your cash, right? This is what happens. That's called a violation. This is what Regina was talking about earlier. We as consumers are actually protected by the law. And the law says if someone violates your right to practice commerce freely, they owe you money. When they're accessing your credit report illegally, they don't have a reason to be accessing it because you didn't give them your social security number. Oh, Gina, could you toss me my little wallet from back there? I want to show y'all something, and I don't know if anybody else has this. I've had my social security card for many years, so it looks a little bit different from people who are getting theirs now. On the back of my social security card is what amounts to a contract. It's a little old, it's a little dated, but if you get one now, it's not going to say what the back of mine says. If yours is new, it's not going to say this. First thing it says is do not laminate this card. What's the first thing we did back in the day? We got our social security card. Go right and laminate it, right? The first thing that people tell you not to do. The next thing it says is, see, I see it's laminated. Bitch, I put it back fast. The next thing it says is, this card is invalid if it's not signed by the number holder unless health or age prevents the signature, right? So obviously babies don't have to sign. Proper use of this card and or the number by the number holder or any other person is punishable by fine, imprisonment, or both.
It's one of the, yeah. It's either
Yes. So,
I'll get that.
By any improper use of the card or the number, this number was assigned to you a long time ago. Your parents went and got this number for you. You were a little old kid, didn't know nothing about it. It's for your use. And there's a whole other conversation that we can have about this number, but right now we're focusing just on how we're being taught to use it. and that is as debtors, people who borrow against this account number. And it is actually an account number. Do you want that to be back up?
Yeah.
Just open this. Sorry. So, you are the only person who has the legal right to use this number. Unless you give someone else, what's the word I'm looking for? Permission. Gosh, I'm tripping. Unless you give somebody permission to use this number, nobody else has any business using it. So creditors, debt collectors who don't know you, never had a conversation with you, bought your list. I've seen these lists. I didn't know what it was back then because I had a friend who bought debt. And she was making like $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 in 2 minutes, selling and buying debt. And this was a few years ago, and I wanted to know how to do that because they was getting paid. But I'm really glad now that I didn't, because now I understand what they were doing. But this is how I know that when Regina started teaching this to me, it all clicked. It started coming together, and then I got it. But if there is a list. It will have your name, your address, last known address, your social security number, and how much the debt is. And then there's another column that basically says how much they're purchasing that particular line item of debt for. That's what those lists look like. And it is a cottage industry. These people do this day in and day out. It's like another stock market. They buy and sell debt back and forth all day, every day. That is what they do. They did the same thing. This is creative financing. These are exotic notes and that kind of stuff. Okay?
I want to add, while she's talking about this, this is why the debt collector